My name is Tommy Springston, and my life has been the fairly simple day, broken record. I go to work, come home to my son who just got home from school, see my wife, and had this amazing child. Everything was perfect. Then one day I came home to her mangled body laying on the floor. Oh God, it looked like an animal had torn her limbs from limb. Even this day, no one knows what did it. Well, no one except for me and my son. You see, a couple months back, my son and I had settled down for bed, and it was all played out like usual. I watched him brush his teeth. He lay down and I sat by him until he fell asleep. Then I proceeded to my room. I needed sleep. I worked a couple extra hours that day, and I had to get to my sister to watch my son after school. Just as I had almost fallen asleep, a loud crash woke me. And this wasn't like a remote falling off the couch crash. It was like a baseball bat hitting a window crash. Strangely, it came to my son's room. I rushed to see what happened, and what I saw was my son curled up under the blanket, shaking, and his lamp busted on the floor. Hey, what happened? I asked in a low voice. He got mad at me, he said, crying. He? He who? The Dark Man, he fussed. Who's the Dark Man? He makes me hurt myself. My son collapsed as he muttered the words. Well, it's okay. He won't hurt you now. No. He's gonna kill me. He said he would if I told anyone that... What was that? Just as those words left his mouth, I was thrown against the wall and looked up to see a dark, faceless figure standing over my son, and his deep, menacing voice almost echoed as he spoke.
Child, I warned you not to speak of me, but you have, so now you and your father will be destroyed as your mother was.
The second those words left his mouth, I knew this was the person who killed my wife. Rage shot through my veins as I punched the thing in the face. But even though with all my strength, it didn't even flinch. What the fuck are you? I demanded in the Dark Man's voice.
You will know soon enough.
And he pushed me with all his might out of my son's door, and I fell down the stairs. My son then came running after me, and the creature followed behind, saying,
Don't run, child. It will only make it that much worse.
I scooped up my son and ran for the door. As I threw open the door, I couldn't believe my eyes. In front of me stood my wife, completely perfect, looking just like she did before she died. The thing then said,
Your beautiful wife, who I have wrapped deep in my embrace, will be released and returned to you just as she was before death, if you give me your child's life.
I actually thought about it for a second, but I couldn't. Fuck you. You're not taking him from me. Just as I said that, my wife suddenly turned into a horrible, dismembered corpse and tried to grab me. I dodged and ran all the way to the police station with my son in my arms. After what happened that day, I immediately moved out of the house into a new one across town. Nothing like that ever happened again, but sometimes, when I think about that night, I wonder, what would happen if I just gave up my son?